Hey everybody, good morning. We have a pack to value. I'm limited on time. I do have 5 classes that I'm racing against the clock that I need to go teach. But we do have a pack. It does need to be valued. I was going to ignore this one, but my DMs on Discord just kept blowing up yesterday and the day before. So I know that I'm late, but this is one whose valuation, it's so hard to do these packs, CG. And I know, I think I've said this before. One of you guys at HQ is sending out round memos like, hey, how can we make this as hard as possible for Egnards to put together a valuation on this? We want to watch his video. We want to laugh at how much he struggled. And I did. I did struggle. But we got it. And of course, we are talking about the Supreme Kyrotech Cache. It's probably not valuable to those of you in the end game, but I know those of you in the earlier game and the mid game, you may be eyeing this and saying, wow, is there value there? Now, before we get into that, I know that I do have some friends out there in the community that are concerned about my hair health and cleanliness. I do normally do my packs and valuations in the morning, literally 5 a.m. before I shower. I can assure you that I woke up even earlier this morning just to put those rumors at rest, though I'm not sure if I want to take the advice of prominent members in our community who, well, they look like a toy that I played with in the late 90s. But Scribbles, man, don't worry, because I know how to fix this. This nice little red magic pen there, and boom, there you go, buddy. So let me know, and I'll hook you up with the treatments. All jokes aside, let's get into it. Let's get those valuations done. Let's see what this looks like. So we have, where is it? Supreme Kyrotech Cache, right? Right here in the game. It does kind of trick you into thinking you're getting a whole bunch of stuff. We all know CG definitely does this on purpose. There's a lot of reading that needs to go on here on the right-hand side, but it is a potential item and material drop. This might be the most convoluted pack I have seen from CG. The signal data one was pretty bad. The one that came after the signal data one, I believe, let's look, the ability catch was not as bad. This one took a while to value. All of the EV math that went into all of this, it was tough. Was it worth it on my end? Probably not, because it's not a pack that I am personally interested in buying. But was it worth it if I can have you make an informed decision? Well, then certainly yes, right? So let's pull up the charts. We're gonna head on over here to the premium value charts. We're gonna pop on over to normal packs, our Supreme Kyrotech Cache. All right, so first up, in your base pack, you are getting 40 shock prods and computer salvage, and that's going to equal out to about 2,240 crystals in base value at a cost of 1,500 crystals. We're rounding here, right? It's early morning. That gives you a base value increase of about 50%. So right off the bat, you are getting some decent value when we're talking about crystals. Okay, so you might see um, dollar value packs that are higher than that, but a 50% discount on Kyrotech is pretty comparable to the old 50-50 chance pack where you got 50 or you got 100, and the cost was based on just the one Kyrotech itself. So if you are in the early or the mid game, or if Kyrotech are still a gate for you, just off of the base level itself, you're doing pretty good. We do have the EV of the pack here, the expected value. And as a reminder, that expected value is basically if you were to purchase this pack over and over and over and over again, this is about the value you would expect to get over time. This pack does have a purchase limit of 2. We don't know how often it's going to come around. I'm presuming if it is popular that it will see some airtime over the next couple of months, over the next couple of years. However, I really do want to warn you, I don't like using expected value for this pack because as I was going down through it, there were a lot of things or a lot of roles that I just did not like. A lot of things where even if I was in the mid game, I just wouldn't be as happy with. So even though it's there and it's really the only way that I can look at overtime value, I do want to keep in mind as we walk through the tiers that there are some that, again, to me, just aren't worth it. Okay, so our most common role, Kyrotech Boost, you have a 40% chance of getting 10 more shock prods and battle computers. That's going to jump you up to a 2,800 crystal value and almost 90% total value increase. That is actually really solid, though 10 of each doesn't seem great, right? It's not like, oh man, I got this great, awesome pack. Your value is there, and that's really all that is important. I would not hate this roll, but I wouldn't be super excited about it. Going into our energy overflow, we have a 15% chance here. And in fact, I'm going to just zoom this in a little bit. That looks good. Our energy overflow, I do want to stress that my store values for energy value things at the second level of refreshes. So the 100 crystals for most of them and the 200 crystals for Cantina. And the reason that I do it that way is because I figure most players, if they need a specific energy, they are doing those rolls first anyway. And what they are getting from the pack is extra, right? So that's something to keep in mind. You're getting about 600, 900, 1200 energy total for a total value increase of 3,500 crystals, or total value crystals, and our value increase of about 132%. Now, I will say it's a nice thing to get energy wise. The only one of these that I would really personally care about is Cantina Energy, unless there was a double drop or a bonus drop coming up. So I don't know if I'd necessarily be super excited about this. You might say, hey, I don't have to do a level of refreshes for a day. I don't see it as too big of a deal. I'm not mad about this one, but I'm not super excited. Going down to our Injector salvage um, cache, I don't know. I don't care. You're all going to yell at me in the comments anyway. Pizza. We're getting 3 different finishers, 3 different injectors. Our quantities are 15 each. We're seeing a 3,800 crystal value for 154% value increase. Now, this is one of the packs that I don't really know if I'd be happy about getting this. You need 50 for a finisher. This is only 15 for each one. And if you are building your account in a smart way and you're really focusing on the CT1s of the assault battles, you are going to reach a point where you just never have to farm these again, ever. I've never farmed these things, and I know that that's a late game problem, but I have said that to a lot of people in my roster reviews as well, and then gotten messages 6 months, 9 months, a year down the road where they said, hey, you remember that advice you gave me about assault battles? You were so right. I stopped having to deal with salvage. I would be annoyed if I got this. You might be in the early game and say, hey, I'm stuck in the throes of this thing now. It's great. Personally, not amazing for me. We have our carbanti chest. Now, the carbanti chest is interesting because 2 out of the 3 of these things I would consider junk items. Now, you might need MK2s, you might need MK4s, but they are so proficient or prominent within your purchasing power that you're going to eventually end up with thousands of these, and it's not going to be limiting. That's the thing a lot of people don't understand when it comes to packs and when it comes to buying things. You might buy something you need in the moment, but if it's not actually limiting you, you're wasting your crystals, right? So here we see actually a reduce in our value for crystals and only getting 3,700. for a 150% value increase. Now, even these MK6s, you are you can get enough of these through raiding, through purchases, through farming, through all of the different avenues in the game. This is a role that I would be a little bit annoyed with. We move on to our stun guns, and we have a similar thing here with the MK4 stun guns not really having any value. The MK5 stun guns, these things used to be the bane of our existence, but they are so prominent in MK1 that I don't even think about them anymore. And I do think that there are a lot of players in that position. Again, you may be in the throes of it right now, but very quickly you'll find out that it's the Kyrotech that is actually limiting you, and this is just something that might run out sometimes. The MK12s are not bad though, so I don't know if I'd be like really annoyed if I got this pack and I needed the items in it, but it's not like as super great as it appears down here with our 5,000 crystal value and our 252% value increase, right? So it's just, something to keep in mind. Moving back up here to the top, our stun cuff supply, MK3s and MK12s. Again, this is something where these MK12s, not super bad. I do need these. It is G12 gear, but these MK3s you can get easy enough where they're not, I don't care about them. And I don't think that most people should care about them. Right? But in a vacuum, our total value in crystals is 6,500, and our total value increase is going to be about 340%. Just so we get an idea here, because that quantity at 75 does really put us in a position where we go, wow, is this inflated? We drop that down, and we're seeing that dip in our value increases. Our ability stash for 5%. This is one that I would be pretty excited about, but 95% of the time you're not getting it, right? 10 omegas, 5 zetas, 3 omicrons, getting about 6,000 crystals in value, 300% value increase. I don't really necessarily care about the omegas, so it really comes down to 221. Now, I do want to stop and stipulate here that these Omicrons at a store value of 481, they have appeared in the weekly store the last 2 weeks at 300 crystals per Omicron. Now, if that continues, I will be lowering my store value here. But because the weekly is so inconsistent, I am staying firm for right now. But just so we get an idea of what that might look like, with these at 300, and let's say let's say these guys are not valued at all, we're still getting a pretty close to 200% value increase, so it's not terrible. Our signal data stock, this is one that, like, if I could guarantee this, I would roll this pack every single time. This is actually, to me, the jackpot. This is what the 1% should be, at least for me as a late game player, going, wow, that's what I really want. Now, I'm happy that it's 4 times as high in terms of valuation. But this is what I'm looking at as like, maybe I should take the chance. You're getting 300% increase in value, 6,000 crystals in value, 70 gray, 60 green, 50 blue. This is what I want in every pack. You try to sell me signal data, I'm going to buy it. Why? Because it is that useful. Moving down to our crystal jackpot, you're getting 1,000 crystals. Your value increase here is about 120%. The way that I would look at this is you're getting this whole pack for 499 crystals, right? I can't value it that way because it throws tons of the math off. Well, I guess I can. If you were to roll that crystal jackpot, we could take the Supreme Kyrotech base. We could say that the crystal cost is 499. Okay, and we would say that our base value increase is 350% on just getting these things. So in terms of the discount, yeah, cool. It is kind of exciting, I guess, if you get it. To me, though, as somebody that does have a hoard of crystals and who is looking for actual gear. It's not the role that I want. It is a role that I would be happy with. And then, of course, we have our jackpot, and that jackpot, just like in the other packs, you are essentially getting the entire pack for free with that 14.99 crystals, and you are getting 3 full Kyrotechs. Now, again, to me, late game, don't care. I do not need any of those things. If you're mid late game, you probably do not care. You don't need any of those things. So it's not super exciting as a jackpot compared to the signal data catch, right? And our signal data catch, you are getting tons of green, blue, gray signal data and R9 materials. That was super insane, right? It appears to be a higher valuation here, but it's of lower gear needs and it will go rather quick. Now, the argument against what I just said is that if you don't need these Kyrotech, you're probably not buying this pack anyway, right? If you do need the Kyrotech, this would be a pretty boon to you. So is this pack a buy, right? Look, here's the deal. When it comes to whether or not we should buy something, we have to determine whether or not we need something. And if you don't need Kyrotech, no, it is not worth it to chance the very, very, very small chance that you get signal data or ability materials, ability. If you are somebody that needs the Kyrotech, the base chance is a 50% value increase, which does make it very worth it, even if you get the worst rolls from the pack. So is it a buy? I'm going to optimistically say that for the majority of players not in the end game, yes, this is a pack that you should strongly consider. And it is one that you maybe want to buy every time that it comes around just to get you to that spot um, in a quicker amount of time. Now, my last thought here, as I said, I do not think EV is the best way to value this pack because, as I said before, there are a lot of components here that, like, if I got them, cool, they'll be minorly helpful, but because they're not significantly or severely limiting to the people in the community, they are things that even though they have technical value, I would value them as a zero. So those are just things to keep in mind. Hopefully it helps. If you get the jackpot, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. I love when people have luck that is way better than mine, unless it's a 330 shard pack, and then I hate you very, very, very much. With that said, peace out. Have a great rest of your day.